everyone. Welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today about relationships, and this one is from Kate. Kate says, a while ago, I think I heard you mention that sometimes you look at your husband and feel great warmth toward him, and sometimes you think, oh, him, in a fed up kind of way. She says, I'm paraphrasing a lot and might have gotten completely the wrong end of the stick. Not really. If you did say something, meaning, no, you're not wrong, Kate. That sounds pretty typical. If you did say something along these lines, could you speak more about that? I'm assuming that the bottom line is that relationships and our feelings about people in general ebb and flow. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with the relationship or with anyone we encounter, nor does it mean that we need to end the relationship, or does it? So, yeah, I love this question, Kate, and it's such an interesting one because it kind of highlights yet another exception our mind wants to make. Where this thing called a relationship somehow looks like it might be outside of the natural laws of how all the rest of our experience works. And it's just what a mind does. Like we conceptualize things and we give them labels like my health or my relationship or my career or my kids or whatever it might be. And then our mind, not us, but our mind tends to go to work sort of applying different rules to each of those things and all kinds of other expectations and thinking that isn't inherent in those things because those things aren't really things. So that sounds very clumsy the way I said it. But here's the thing I want you to consider, Kate. Of course, feelings in relationships and in every minute of everyone's life, beyond the level of concepts of relationships, health, family, other things, feelings through human beings, thoughts, experience, all of that, always moving, always, no exceptions, always ebbing and flowing, always feeling warmer and colder, always, always will. It's just the way we work. And it only looks like that's potentially problematic or meaningful if we have more thinking that's making that up. So again, more thinking that says, "Oh, I shouldn't be feeling this in my relationship or it shouldn't be moving this fast when it comes to my career or whatever," right? Like our mind will come in and say, oh, yeah, I get that experience moves. It moves through every human being all day, every day for our entire lives. But over here, it's moving at the wrong speed or it shouldn't be happening that way. And it's your question such a great reminder to kind of help us see no, it's the same across the board all the time because there's just us in life. Like experience is just going to flow. And of course, as human beings, we live within these structures called relationships or careers or children or whatever. But we kind of want to see that's a pretty high level up. Like that's a concept our mind is made up. So when feelings ebb and flow within your relationship, for example, or around your relationship, it doesn't say anything about the relationship because what is the relationship really? The relationship, so you and your partner, let's say, the relationship is a thought in and of itself. A level deeper than the relationship, there's just you and then there's just your partner, but you're just feeling your own ebb and flow. Now, your mind might be talking about him, saying, I like him, I don't, I like him, I don't. What does this all mean? That's that's just the conversation a mind is having. That's not about the relationship at all. The content's about the storyline is about the relationship. But the fact that a mind is moving all over talking about something called a relationship, it doesn't tell us anything about a true relationship with another person. It tells us about where our mind is. And that's true again when we're looking at any concept we come up with, our health or the state of our life or what we should do this weekend or any of that, right? What we're feeling is thought move through us and it's always ebbing and flowing. And then it happens to be talking about certain things and we think that what our mind is talking about is affected or is the oh, I'm thinking this way because of the relationship. No, the relationship is the way the relationship looks in that moment because of where your mind is. So see if you can kind of sit with that and see what that kind of opens up. This it might be really obvious, and I think for all of us in moments it's really obvious, and then in moments it's like, what? Of course there's a relationship, and of course it means something about that. But really kind of see if we can look a level beyond these concepts and these labels and see that it's just about thought moving. And our relationship with our partner, for example, is really more a relationship with our own thinking than it is anything else. Now, as humans, we live at this level of concepts very often, right? So, and sometimes we enter relationships or leave relationships. Wonderful, of course we do. Rather than looking to an ebbing and flowing of feelings or a warmness or a coldness or any of that and wanting to get the meaning or the direction out of all that stuff that's always moving, which is going to be hard. So, for example, if you're looking to your partner saying, should I stay or should I go? I don't know. One day I love him, one day I hate him. My feelings are all over the place. That's the truth about your feelings, but that isn't necessarily meaningful, helpful information about staying or going. That's just where your feelings are going. But it's a step in the right direction. It's super important because when we can see that the ups and downs, the hot and cold, is our own mind fluctuating around, thinking about this and then thinking about that, when we can kind of hold that a little bit loosely when it comes to the other person and just see how much that's life dancing through us. And sure, it's all about the other person and content and story, but we're going to hold it a little loosely in terms of how we apply it to them. Then what you start to see is as we're holding it more loosely, it just moves in a different way. We take it less seriously. We're staring at it less to try to get something meaningful and valuable and helpful out of it. We're not looking at it to tell us something important. We're just seeing it move through. And from that place, that's when something deeper and wiser tends to come up. So don't think about that part too much, but that's when you just sometimes it just feels like the thing to do to leave or to stay or to not make a decision today to see how it goes but that's not going to come from this. It's going to come from a deeper place, and when we're not staring at this trying to nail it down, we're going to feel that deeper place so much more, and we can just be guided by it. And that won't mean it's this instant shot of clarity that says no question in my mind, for sure I'm going to stay, but it's like it helps you in the moment, in that moment anyway, or maybe for that day anyway, what you're going to do. And looking there toward what doesn't move so much and what's a little wiser and a little quieter, less dramatic and less flowy and ebby, so helpful. It quiets our mind, and then we just tend to kind of be in that place where we know things, and again, maybe not long term forever, but we just know what feels right now, and we get to follow that. So I hope this helps. It's a little bit deep that there is no relationship and it's really our relationship with our own thinking. Um, that's true, but it also helps in very practical ways. So I'm not at all saying, oh, it's just your own mind. It doesn't matter whether you stay or go. I'm saying, no, we get information about staying or going from a deeper place, from beyond the moving around. And yes, what you remembered me saying about my husband is totally right. Could be this way, could be that way, could be anywhere in between, but I don't look to that. I know that's my mood. My mood determines how he looks to me in any given moment. And that's pretty amazing because I can get in some moods where he doesn't look so good. And I can get in some moods where he looks amazing. And I just somewhere deep in there know to not trust all that so much, especially when it's fluctuating a lot. And what I personally see is like, yeah, this isn't about him. This is definitely where I want to be right now. But I would never see that, at least not as clearly, if I'm looking at all the ebbing and flowing. So thank you so much, Kate, for your question. I hope this is helpful. I hope it's helpful to others. And yeah, thanks for sending it. So send me your questions. Next Monday, I will not be doing a live Ask Amy because I'm going to be traveling in an RV with my husband. We'll see how he looks to me. I'm sure it'll change a lot. But the following Monday, I'll be back as I always am. So send your questions about anything, relationships, habits, anxiety, how a mind works, anything at all that's on your mind. And I'd love to answer your questions. So have a good week, and I'll see you back here soon. Bye, everyone.